Comedy Jonah. Hi, everybody. Hi, John.
Hey Eric, how's it going?
It's going great.
Good.
What?
This is a great episode. I think it's one of my favorite Veto Comp episodes that I've seen in a long time. What did you think?
I missed the episode. I was busy with a Smurf.
Ah, there you go.
Okay, I had an airhead, and apparently I didn't realize that it was going to turn my tongue blue. Big mistake before a show. Just noticed it now. Oh, well, what can we do? You
Well,
know what we can do? What, John? What?
I said well, at least one of us watched it, so we can move forward, right?
Yes, 100%. And you know what else, John? I want to
What?
let everybody know that no matter where you guys are watching, make sure that you
Mhm.
follow, like, and subscribe. It's a great way to help support the show's YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of your favorite places. Make sure that you comment below and, of course, share the show and let everybody know that we are live. Share it now, because we're live. Share it with a friend later. Maybe there's a Facebook group that likes it. All of those things that you guys do, 5-star rating, nice review on your favorite podcast providers, your comments, all of that is what helps support the shows, and we really, really appreciate it. Of course, if you guys have any questions, you can tweet us them with hashtag YRRLive. But John, I am super excited to talk about tonight's episode with somebody that I think is probably the most qualified to talk about tonight's episode.
Right?
It is the one, the only, Brent. Hi, Brent.
What's up,
Brent,
guys? How are you? Thank you for having me.
in your honor. And I'm not just talking about the cheap stuff, Brent.
There we go. Loved
There
it.
we go. There
Champagne
we
with champagne.
go.
I got it. It's
Fly,
awesome.
flying with champagne.
You
Uh, which is Brent's Instagram if you are not following him, but we'll get to that at the end
What a
of the show.
great Instagram name. Wow,
Thank
because
you.
you're a flight attendant. Yeah.
Yes, international flight attendant. I get paid to see the world and meet all the beautiful people that come with it.
And there are so many things that you do if you ask the house guests. What did they think that you were? Like scientist, doctor, FBI, CIA?
So Hannah, ironically enough, thought I was a doctor of some sort, and
Uh-huh.
me the same exact thing. A lot of people thought I might have been in the entertainment as far as like dancing or
Oh.
yeah,
Oh.
but no,
Have you
no.
ever done that?
I've been asked, but I've never done it. No.
Are
Um,
you a
No.
are you a trained dancer? Could you like be on Dancing with the Stars like with one of the well, you would be the celebrity now.
Well, I will say this. I did take a hip hop class when I was younger in
Oh.
elementary school just to be closer to the girl that I liked. Her name was,
Yeah.
yeah, her name was Brittany, and her mother taught the class. So we actually ended up, I was learning how to dance, and I got a date out of it as well.
Oh.
Then it worked, right?
Yeah,
All that effort worked off.
effort pays off. It always does.
Effort pays off, absolutely. So I think a lot of people, Brent, want to know you're out of the house. Are you caught up with Big Brother this season? Have you been watching the episodes, some of the live feeds?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a live feeder.
Okay.
I lived the experience, so I do know that that's chaotic and it's a lot. It's a commitment, but I am caught up with the show as far as the moves that are happening and everything like that. And I do obviously do my due diligence, looking at what people are recapping as far as the live feeds are concerned. So I think it's getting pretty feisty in there, and I think it's going to be a great next episode tomorrow night. And I think
Yeah.
next week as well is going to be something to tune into. That's for sure.
It
Ha,
it
ha,
is.
yeah,
Dad.
go ahead, Eric. No, I
Oh,
mean, are you surprised how things have shifted since you've been gone as far as alliances? Do you have kind of a front runner as far as who's still left in the house?
So I am not shocked as far as the amount of betrayal and shots being taken.
Yeah,
I was
Big Brother.
as
Big
the
Brother.
recap, reality recap. I was voted out 11-0 by my own team, and such. And I did see the possibility of my team being attacked after I was gone as well. And if it wasn't for Derek X winning that HOH, I do think it would probably been him and Hannah up as far as one of the stronger final two you would say as far as
Yeah.
relationship and being ex teammates, kind of like the Christian and Alyssa thing. So it would have made sense for people to try to attack those two relationships, either or. But yeah. So I mean, am I surprised that he's taking a shot and people are scattering? Not at all. I think it needs to be done, and I think this is the time to do it, especially all the stars aligned as far as the backdoor and the possibility of it happening. And obviously, tomorrow night we'll get that reassurance. But I am not shocked by any means of all the people betraying and taking shots at each other, as far as that's concerned.
I have to ask,
Yeah.
because one of the things, I mean, I'm asking, but a lot of people ask this, you're the blind side all week. I think something to your credit, a lot of us, I know me, because I always want drama on the live feeds. I was like, oh, we're getting ready for the blind side. It is going to come. Brent is going to explode. And you handled that, which is something that I think people should give you credit for, like, very well. You were like, look, it's a game. I would have betrayed and backstabbed them. They betrayed and backstabbed me first. What do you want to say about it? Because, I mean, it really didn't seem like you were shocked at all. Like, did you know that it was
Yeah.
going? Like, did anyone tell you beforehand?
So this was the thing, and I knew what I was getting myself into when I signed that dotted line. And I knew this game, it's a beautiful game, but it's a nasty game, and it can get pretty personal. And if you're not able to separate the personal and the game itself, I could see where it could be a hard pill for people to swallow, especially on their way out meeting Jewel. But um, as far as knowing that it was coming, it was more or less the narrative I was trying to build was to make it look like Xavier's team, which was the Kings at the time, that was working with mine, we were the Radicals, that they were kind of going and taking a shot at me. As far as me telling the Jokers that, I had a suspicion that X was aligned with Aza and maybe the Jokers because he wouldn't nominate her. And everything started to click organically, and people started slipping up as far as how they would talk. They were talking already past tense, and it hasn't even happened yet. But at the same time, I do know that I was looking for a certain type of narrative to paint just in case my plan did work. At least I would be able to salvage the relationship between me and Xavier, because we were working together and we didn't want people to catch on to that. So I was obviously saying and going around saying I was the target to calm other people down. But at the same time, I also firmly believed it because it just all the numbers added up to me being the target. And as closer and closer to eviction night, I was hopeful that everything would go to plan, but I've been betrayed by some of those people before in the past, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. And I was trying to just reassure that maybe I could pull this out. So I would have been more shocked if I got that 6-5, right, to stay,
Right.
than if I heard that anything else as far as the numbers being skewed and not in my favor. And as everyone's casting their votes, uh, they're all so happy and they're all smiling at each other and no one seems nervous, and I'm like, okay, the joke's on me because we're supposed to be doing something that's going to make it a little tense in here. People are going to be bamboozled, if you will. And it wasn't that at all. And Brittany was sitting there too calm and pretty, next to me on that block for someone that was going to be going home. So soon as Jewel opened her mouth and I heard 11 come out, I was like, there's no way that Derek F and Aza voted against their teammate, the Jokers. So I was like, absolutely, it's definitely me. And sure enough, I was meeting Jewel. So it was a bittersweet moment. I got to meet an American icon, but it was also my last days in the house.
Absolutely, but I think it really goes to kind of a testament to, you handle it really mature, like emotionally mature, like you didn't flip out, you didn't
I
like
hated it.
Eric would have flipped
A
out. Like
lot.
Eric and I even debated this. I'm like, no, he had to know. Like he's just too calm. There's no way. Maybe he's a little in shock, but now that we're talking to you, that is a testament to you, Brent, that, it was kind of a 50-50 that you could probably get it with a 6-5 vote. And when it didn't happen, you handled it really well. And I think even sitting there and watching those goodbye videos with the smiling, I gladly evict,
They were doing my
that
hand
was,
signals too as well.
yeah, that would be really tough. And I think you sat there and was very mature about it. So bravo.
Thank you, thank you. There's one thing I want to say about that as well, and I tried to. If you watch the live feeds, I don't think they showed it, but I was talking to Brittany and I was having a heart to heart with her because she was obviously very devastated being nominated again, and I was just trying to reiterate the fact that we're hypothetically, well, metaphorically on a block, right?
Hmm.
We this is the worst thing that could possibly happen in this game, and I was like, if you think about it and having the perspective that that's the worst thing happening in this house right now, but the things going on in the real world, I mean, this is a walk in the park for a lot of situations that people, So for us to be able to play the game and even have that opportunity, don't, that famous quote, it's like, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And if you have that type of attitude, you can get voted out unanimously and betrayed by your own team and have a smile. So
Right.
it is what it is.
I mean, I have to give you credit because, like I said, I have to give you credit for the way that you handled it. Because
Duh.
regardless of the people that are critical of things about your game, I think, I was upset. I wanted a mad, Brent, but I do want to give you an opportunity. We are not about like grilling people and being like, no, this is how you have to do it. I just want to know if you want to comment. I mean, obviously, one of the critical things about your edit was people felt that you might have been misogynistic or like the way that you talked to the women in the house sometimes. So I want to let you, I don't have a question. I just want to let you say what you want to say about that.
All I'll say on that topic is that it takes two to tango as far as um, we are 16 strangers that meet each other for the first time, living in a house, all from different backgrounds, ideals, beliefs, and we have to play a game that's, it's dirty. And as far as the way things were either edited or the narratives trying to be built and everything, we had a lot of discussions in the house that were very deep, and it wasn't right or wrong. It was just more or less of opinions and what we could understand, the perspective or the conclusion to those topics of discussion. And sometimes things get chopped up, and then they put certain things into certain context and take away the substance behind it or whatever it may be. So um, I know who I am and I know what I can offer. And at the end of the day, I have to stay and be around myself every moment of my life. So therefore, for me to understand that I can't please the world and the world is not going to agree with me or give me the opportunity or be understanding of why I might have came to a conclusion on a subject or thought one was interesting. Again, there's a lot of smart people in that house, and we would have a lot of deep discussions. A lot of it wasn't aired. It was on the live feeds as far as dating, and male and female and such like that. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It was just more or less, let's bounce ideas off each other. And unfortunately, um, people didn't take too kind to certain things, and
Right.
it was never our intentions as far as the conversations being had. It was more or less we have 24 hours every single day,
Mm-hmm.
and you start to talk about
Imagine.
everything you never thought you would talk about, and everyone has a unique opinion.
Okay, so I just want to get that out of the way so that we can have fun for the rest of the show. Except
Okay,
I
let's do it.
lied.
Done. Done.
No, not done. I have one more question. It probably is going to be now the worst question, but if I don't ask you, everyone's going to kill me.
Okay.
How insane was it to live with Frenchie? I mean, he seems like a real wackadoo.
Now, now this is
That
the thing.
week. That week,
This is,
right?
I
this is the
love Frenchie.
I
I'm
love him
totally
too.
kidding. I
I
love
love him too.
Frenchie.
I love him too. So we have all collectively agreed that the first week was an absolute crap show. I don't know if I could swear, but it was absolute
Yes.
shit show. It
Fuck
was an
yes.
absolute shit show.
Total
Yeah.
shit show. Wow. It was, yeah.
And he'd be the first to admit it. Now, the problem is when I first walked into that house, I had a completely different strategy. But then I was the number one target, so now I'm in defense mode the whole time. And I have to say and do whatever I can to make sure that I do not remain in the crosshairs of even touching that block. And unfortunately, which people said I was his henchman, as far as what they were every meeting and stuff, I was just like sitting there with my arms crossed, like just listening to the meetings and such. It wasn't the case at all. It was more or less he wanted me to be there, as far as seeing where, having just another opinion on the matter. And was it absolutely. It was a roller coaster ride to say the least. It was a lot of cleaning up as far as bridges that were burnt and promises that weren't kept. And he does know that if he could go back and do it all over again, he would. But yeah, living with him was a blast. Uh, but the paranoia and the yeah,
No,
it
Were
was
I
it was
were you shocked when you went up to that HOH room? He was during his HOH, and you were one of his targets, and
mm,
he was gonna just get to know you a little bit, blah blah blah.
yeah,
And then you came across very
yeah.
sincere. You talked about your father. It was a very touching moment, and you got into Frenchie's heart, and you guys became kind of a final two.
Yeah, it was a more or less a situation of understanding on my behalf because he just came out of sequester and he just got to compete and wanted to see his children and wanted to see the photos of his children and he won that right to get that. And then he has 16 well, 15, excluding himself, people in the HOH room, right?
Yeah,
And they're all trying to show some type of support, which I was up there to show support. But at the same time, he was also making a lot of remarks about how he's not a night owl and that he just wanted to, relax and take it all in, reflect. And I have been through situations where I could understand and feel for him. So therefore, I didn't overstay my welcome that first night in the HOH room. But as others did and kind of annoyed him in a sense, he also took notice of me not being there. But it was out of respect because the last thing I would have wanted is to be, in a hotel, then making my way to the show, winning the HOH, seeing my family that I haven't seen forever, become emotional and have all that release as far as his passion for them, and then want all these people around him. I just understood that its space is what was needed,
yeah.
and once we got into that, it just kept unraveling from there. And he realized that there's more to me than just what he judged when he first met me. So it
Yeah.
was a situation of like, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
At least turn the first page.
Yeah. I mean, I want to make, I feel like I need to interject three things here. One, we had Frenchie on, so you guys should go check out that show wherever you're watching this. And
Recommend. Yeah.
Frenchie is, I love Frenchie outside the house. He is very funny, and I think Frenchie is great, and you guys should check out that show, number one. Number two, I want to say, we do a lot here over the past 10 years for, mental health and awareness, and I am sorry for the loss of your dad, and I think that is a very brave and important thing to share that a lot of
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
do not get that real on national television. Number
Mm-hmm.
one, um are you going to use any of this, fame and stuff that you got out of this experience to raise more awareness? Because I really think that you specifically could speak to a large amount of people that have dealt with similar situations that you have, dealt with in regards to your dad.
Yeah, so absolutely, it is something that I've lived through, and I understand it quite well. As far as this is actually the second in my family. My young cousin passed away from the same way when she was younger. Um, I do think that it's something that I would want to pursue, but I want to do it the right way, and I want to make sure that it is authentic and it's genuine, and it's not something to try to get any type of attention that is on me. I want it to be on the actual
Yeah.
subject of it, So it's definitely something that I am going to pursue. But like I said, I just want to do it the right way where it comes off
Right.
as far as actually raising awareness and not
Yeah.
just trying to,
No,
remain in the spotlight.
that is great. I'm sure that you could sell things from your, when you get your box at the end of the season
Yeah,
to and give that
Yeah.
money to there's a lot of things that I'm sure people have told you. If they haven't, we can tell you a lot of things that you
Yeah.
can do whenever. But all right, where questions are coming in for you. I feel like we should kind of save them more for the end.
okay. It's your
let's
world.
talk.
I'm just living in it. So
Yeah, I want to switch now to happy. I want to switch to
Right.
let's talk about the show because Brittany and that comp.
Mm,
But where do you want to start from
crazy.
tonight's episode, John?
Well, I mean, we saw Sarah Beth was shocked. Oh my God, they're coming for the royal flush so soon. We see Brittany flip out again. What is this, like her 18th time on the block? Poor thing. She's so upset. She's so sweet. She gets so upset, and I'm just like at my screen going, "Sweetie, you're the perfect pawn. That's why you're up there. It's nobody's really targeting you. You're just so perfect up there." But seeing her, and even during the veto picks, right? When she's like, I want anyone on this couch except for Kylan. Like that edit.
Kylan.
Yeah,
Kylan
of course.
was so hilarious. Those are some of my, and of course her winning. Oh my gosh. Of course her screaming,
I loved it.
I loved it too.
That was probably one of my favorite moments from the episode tonight, which we know if you're only watching the live feeds. Alyssa was not happy about this on the live feeds. Alyssa was claiming that her helmet did not fit correctly and that it was not fair. So we were all waiting to see what this helmet scenario was looking like. But I have to say, after watching that back, I almost feel like it was looser on Brittany's head than on Alyssa's head after watching it back.
I think everything was getting looser on Brittany. She was going so fast, right? Like everything was starting to come undone.
I love it.
Now, we know from the preseason interviews, Brent, that Brittany has autism and is on the spectrum. Was that shocking for you to learn when you got out of the house, or was that something that she, that you guys already knew that she shared with you?
So I found out after the show. I didn't even have any type of indication that was something that she was. Yeah. So to me, she just seemed. She was just very happy all the time, and
you thought she was a rapper.
She was just. I thought Brittany was being Brittany, and she was being true to who she is, and I could see that she was being authentic, and that radiated. So I didn't really, I was shocked to learn that afterwards, but good for her because this is an insane roller coaster ride, and I give kudos to anyone that even steps foot into the house, as far as with anxiety with Alyssa and everyone that had. They all still took the leap, and you have to give them nothing but a standing ovation for that.
Yeah. I see a lot of people are asking that they want you to weigh in on, do you think we saw DX at the start of this episode? And spoiler alert, I know everyone that watches our show watches the live feed, so I don't believe there are any spoilers in Big Brother since we're all live feed watchers.
Yes.
But so we know
I'm not
that
Brent. I'm with you. I try. I can't.
What? You've been watching all season.
I do what I can. I do what I can.
You do what you can. Okay, so for starters, do you think this was the smart move for this week for DX to make this move against Christian? Is a question you got from so many people.
So honestly, absolutely. It was something that I was going to do myself if in a perfect world I was able to win that veto, win HOH the next week. I was going to put Christian up with Xavier. I just feel as though you need to separate that a dual vote that would happen in jury with Alyssa and Christian. They will, come to a conclusion themselves with that. And when you have an opportunity like Derek X had, as far as being able to take the stab first at Christian had it out for Derek X, and so did Alyssa since the very first week. They wanted to go after Derek X, even though Frenchie was the one that kind of made everything hectic for them. They were very verbal about that, especially to me. And I thought, as far as Derek X taking that shot, was the best move he could make for himself, because Christian wins and Derek X wins as well. But
Exactly.
It is something that it is just huge. Christian won a competition almost every single week, and by a landslide. So that is something you have to put in retrospect as far as like, do you want to be able to have longevity in this game? You take him out when you can, and then even if you make it to final two, he doesn't have a say in your game as well as far as jury's concerned. So I think it was the perfect play for him.
What do you think
Oh,
happens the following week? So let's say Christian's voted out on Thursday,
Yes.
and now we're playing, and Derek X can't play. Xavier says, I liked Christian around a few more weeks because he was my shield.
Hmm.
Now Derek X, especially after tonight, is completely exposed. It's one thing to try to backdoor Christian, but
Yes.
to bring over half the house into the stock room to discuss it
That's a good point.
is
Yeah.
insane. So
Yeah.
now Derek has just kind of put a huge target on himself. And even though it was, discontinued tonight, just mentioning Christian's name, it's like, if you're going to mention it out loud, you have to just do it because no one's going to forget, right? So what happens is Derek, do you think it put a huge target on his back next week to get voted out, to get nominated and voted out?
I really do believe that he obviously it's going to be tough as far as the remainder of the Kings will be after him, and maybe even a couple of the Queens. But I do know his relationship with Kyland is very strong, and now Sarah Beth has a reason to align with him. He has Hannah's unconditional support. He also Kyland's very tight with a lot of people in the house, and I think he's playing one of the best games. And he could be able to sway the Queens, former Queens, Claire and Tiff maybe. You just got to give it time for the dust to settle. I do think it's going to be something that he has to, make sure he steps up his social game. But at the same time, I think with the relationships he has built and staying true to Sarah Beth and everything like that, I think it could work out in his favor. And I think people will realize that he took a shot that a lot of people didn't want to take, and maybe they'll be appreciative of that rather than upset.
Yeah.
Okay, so Oracle
Good point.
speaking now to the two non-live feed watchers.
Here's what we do, Brent. If you haven't seen the show, so me and the guests discuss things, right?
Okay.
And then we ask the Oracle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm like that Saturday Night Live skit where she's like rocking back and forth and she's like, she can't handle it. I'm like, I love surprise because you're both about to get your minds blown. No, it's a horrible move for DX's game.
Is it?
Everybody wanted Sarah Beth out. Tiffany and Claire originally pushing super hard for Sarah Beth until, Kylan started going to bat for Sarah Beth. And then people started putting that into DX's mind. You're never going to get a shot like this again. And kind of a lot of the points that you made. But it doesn't really make sense for DX's game when you factor in the Cookout Alliance, number one.
Yeah.
And it's just, we have seen with you, with Frenchie, with Travis, this house goes after the number one threat, lies to the person's face the entire week before.
Which I think you might know, Brent, right? You might know about that a little bit, just a little.
Yeah.
Tiny bit.
Regardless of if it would be the best move for him, which I don't think that it would be, I don't know why DX's thought process isn't, I watched us lie to Travis, Frenchie, and Brent for a week. We all told stories to the HOH. We blindsided Brett, and it was always to get out the strongest person. Right. I have a great idea. I'm going to now take out the strongest person. Yeah. What are you doing, DX? You're a moron. I can't. This is the stupidest move. So dumb, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't look like it's happening now. Well, as of now, it's not happening. We're 24 hours away. We'll see if it sticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it literally is enraging me with this house. Like, hi, jokers, you're the pawns every week. So I don't know why you're going along with the get rid of Christian plan. Like, you could have DX and Christian and Xavier and them all fighting at each other. Instead, you're like, no, let's let's remove that temptation so we can keep being pawns. What is happening in that house? Oh my God, they enrage me. I'm sorry. Go
It
ahead.
is. It is. It's all over the place. You're right. You're absolutely.
It is. I don't understand these people. And
Okay,
then,
go
okay,
ahead,
I'm
Eric.
sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
you no, go with your rant.
My last point was just going to be he was going. Like Tiffany, who basically controls that house for the most part, if you're a live feed watcher, she, was on board with Christian. So then everyone else is on board with Christian. And then all of a sudden, like an hour before tonight's show, I flicked the feeds back on. Tiffany and Claire are like, we gotta convince DX we're keeping Christian. Kyland is arguing with someone off in a corner. Now all of a sudden the house is flipping to keep Christian. I have no idea how that happened, but apparently that's what happened an hour ago. They're now keeping Christian. So I don't know. I don't know. Oh no, Brent froze. But wait, maybe he can still hear us. Can you hear us, Brent? Brent can't hear us.
At
We'll
least
just
his
keep-
face looks good, right? Like
I
my
know, it's a
Frozen
good-
pictures, I've had the worst expression on my face, but look how he has a sweet little face.
He's thinking about it.
He's thinking about what you're saying.
Here's what
Like
I'm gonna do.
it's a lot that you said, and we're all trying to digest it.
We are. So, let
See,
me.
I still have
you
a
go
mind
ahead.
monitor Brit's face, so I get to still
Yeah.
see him. Yeah.
You get to still see him.
I'm
We'll
sorry.
see if
I
he
think the
pops
shams
back
are
in.
kicking in.
We'll see if he pops back in. Well,
Sure.
we are waiting for him to pop back in. I think that wait, hold on. I'm not gonna. What did you say? You're frozen? Oh, that would be funny. You're just screwing with me.
If
All right.
my face looks good and I say I'm frozen, it means
Uh-huh.
I'm faking. If it looks bad, then I'm most likely not.
I mean, it figures that there would have to have been a problem since we had such good picture and audio with
he
Brent.
looked
Maybe his
crystal
phone
clear.
died or his laptop died, but that's okay. So we can keep. We'll just go back to the
course.
episode while we
course.
wait and see if Brent joins back with
Okay.
us.
All right. So what I was about to bring up that we've talked about it. I've so underestimated Sarah Beth from our pre-show as far as our cast. Talking about the cast, not seeing the videos. To this episode of her singing "Row, row, row your boat." What
Gently down the stream.
win the veto and the safety and betray your team.
Okay,
And then
so
and then the look on her face.
let me tell you, I thought that was so hysterical when we saw that happen.
I loved it.
Hysterical when we saw that happen. I wish that this season I had time to do the mashups because I so badly wanted to do one with like Brittany going into the room talking to Christian and Alyssa from last week, which they never showed on the show. And I wanted to have the Sarah Beth music playing in the background with the little like stabby knife. I don't know. I thought that it would have been funny.
Oh, that would be hilarious. But I mean, even early on in this episode, when she was talking with Alyssa and Claire, and Alyssa was saying, listen, if I win.
Oh, no. Oh, no, now we lost John. All right, hold on. Well, let's see what happens. I don't know what's happening. I don't know where they're all going. John says, all right, hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. I don't know where John went. I'm going to call John back. We're calling John back. We're doing it live. This is fun. I don't know. Maybe something's happening in that. Oh, Brent is saying his Wi-Fi went out. Brent and John are actually right near each other, so I wonder if that's what has happened. Let's see. Is John back now?
What is
Welcome
happening?
back. This is a great show. Well, Brent just texted me and said my Wi-Fi went out. I'm restart. It's rebooting.
Perfect.
And then apparently that happened to you too. So this is just great.
I thought it was you. You're the common denominator. I'm sitting here listening, getting into my spiel, and all of a sudden I look and I have a horrible face and I'm frozen. Like my
Oh
worst.
my goodness.
My
Now's a
worst
great
fear.
time to remind everybody, besides sharing our shows and commenting, you can also provide financial support by going to yourrealityrecaps.com/patron and getting access to our patron only Facebook group. You can give bars and you now. It's all great ways to help us get
Yeah.
new equipment so that we don't have problems.
Who knew that dial-up internet still existed?
Okay, so I'm sorry. You
No,
were going on about Sarah Beth.
I was going on about Sarah Beth, and she's sitting there with Claire and Alyssa, and Alyssa's like, "Listen, if I win the veto, I'm gonna save you. Don't worry about it." Sitting there knowing she just talked to DX. DX said, if she saves you, I will put up Christian, and she knew it and was willing to do it for her game. Who knew Sarah Beth had
Mhm.
this in her? That and the song, I was just like, oh my gosh.
Well,
I want her on Survivor.
you want Sarah Beth on Survivor?
Yes. With that
She's
outwit,
annoying, I'm
outlast,
sorry.
no.
All right,
And
well,
aggressive.
you know who else is surviving, John? You know who else is surviving, John? It would be Brent, who
It
I
would be this
think
broadcast.
So I'm so sorry.
is
Oh, I did
back.
this. Brent, I just did the same thing.
Yeah, John just did the same thing.
And I just called you the wrong name too. Sorry.
No,
Cheers.
it's okay. I know you guys are not mad. You're just disappointed, and I apologize.
Well,
Listen, Eric has to edit it, not us. So we're good.
Ha ha ha. That's how. Hey, John. That's how the last person got out of here. So be careful.
Oh, that was. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Eric, I heart you. I heart you.
So wait a minute. Wait, no, so seriously, I was gonna say I didn't know which joke I wanted to go with, but I was gonna
Right.
say we're taking away your award for best we told Brent before the show. Best video quality, best audio quality. But no, it's totally
yeah.
fine, Brent. People love it. They love, it's a live show. People know that it's live. So we were
Brent,
just talking
your
about
face,
Sarah Beth.
yeah, and your face froze. Your face was very sweet. You had
You
this
got a good
little
face.
angelic face. Your
Yeah.
skin looked great.
Thank
I
you.
froze, and it was like a monster. So
We've had some bad freezes in the past. That was a good freeze one. But we were talking
you were one of the
about
best freezes I've seen.
Sarah
Okay.
Beth.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts on Sarah Beth this week? Do there was a lot of crying. They didn't really focus on it on the show. Another thing that we got a lot of questions about that people said that they wanted your opinion on was the Sarah Beth saying, please don't take the money from me. Please don't take the money from me.
And just taking the money, right? And not trying to at least try to save herself getting the veto.
Well, sure. So let's start with the crying and the money.
Okay, so as far as the crying is concerned, are you asking if, I think it's appropriate of her to cry when she's already nominated?
Or is it real
No,
crying?
just do you think it's her manipulate? I guess a lot of people feel Sarah Beth's tears this
Oh, she's
week, which
pretending.
again, yeah, that like she's pretending and using them to kind of manipulate Kyland more specifically.
I do think everyone in there, we played a lot of improv games, and if you watch the live feeds, you've seen them all, are amazing actresses and actors. It is truly wild as far as being able to turn it on as soon as they need to. Now, is it believable as far as the people in the house? Most likely, just because everyone seems to. It is wild to watch it and then actually be there, because for some reason, everyone, if you saw on tonight's episode, was like, "Oh my God, how could you attack this alliance so early?" I thought they would. Same exact thing went for me. I was in the Radicals and the Mafia, and they both attacked me legit right out the gate. So for people to keep forgetting that a lot of the history is repeating itself, especially the acting and the tears. For some reason, we don't sleep in that house. We're up 24/7, and it takes a toll on you. So I do believe that maybe to the outside world it looks fake, but probably to the people inside, I mean,
Yeah.
there are a lot of very caring, nurturing, beautiful people in that house. There really is, and they all feel
Absolutely
very
agree.
sympathetic, empathetic. Sarah Beth was crying, uh, uh, like so many tears for me just of hearing my story, and I didn't even get to the parts that were she feels deeply and she's very empathetic, and so I've experienced it, but more so I don't know if the tears were because she knew that I was going to be going home or
Right.
the
Right.
situation. It's
Right.
At
but
least get a little moolah. At least
you
get a
know
little moolah. Yeah.
but taking the money is obviously something that's very um, that's happened in the past, right? We've seen people that were on the block and they took the money instead, and everyone was like, "Well, you seem to think that it's really safe if you're going to take that money." Um, and obviously, the conversation she had with Derek X, as far as Derek X
Mhm.
saying he went to the back door, and then Derek X going and telling Alyssa, um, I do think she probably thought it was going to be kept between them, and maybe she thought that she was actually going to be the pawn and
Yeah.
play that type of narrative. But with Derek X telling Alyssa and everything, now it all makes sense for the reason why she took the money because she wanted someone else to take themselves off, and then she could have best of both worlds.
What did you
Okay.
think of her song tonight when she was laying in bed?
It was
Row,
it's
row,
good.
row your boat gently down the stream, win a veto and the safety, and betray your team, and then look.
Yeah,
It scared me. It scared me.
I don't know if it was perfect timing or if it was,
It
but
was
it's definitely
terrifying.
going.
It
It's
was very
definitely
shining when she turned her head.
Mhm.
Is definitely going to be a meme or a GIF or a GIF,
Oh yeah.
however you want to say it.
Oh
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
surely.
yeah.
Oh, it was terrifying. It scares me. I hear that, and I play Dead by Daylight on Twitch most nights, and that terrified me. Um,
So to
oh,
just say this really quick, I would have took
yeah.
the money because I did know that my days were numbered. And as far as me being a target since day one, I was just grateful to be able to keep having the opportunity to stay in the house. But if I was put in a situation like that, I do think that I would have been targeted again and again and again. In her case, I don't think she thinks she's going to be targeted over and over again, so it's a little bit different. But because this is the first time she was actually targeted, I was targeted
Right.
multiple times as far as in the vetoes and stuff. So I
I
would have took
mean,
the money.
that is what people are debating right now. Like, and I mean, a lot of people were upset on the feeds. We saw Lissa say it tonight on the episode. Like, what do you expect us to fight for the veto for you, and you're
Right.
just
Yes.
going to take the money? But I mean, that being said, it also makes sense. Sarah Beth is correct. She's not going to keep it. So why not try and hold on to the money? My
Mm.
only argument to that would be is this is a social game. You don't
Yeah.
have to win just on competitions. Your social game can bring you to the end, and socially, you just made those people feel like we have to win it. You're not playing for 5,000, you're playing for 750. You should
Yeah.
have went for that veto
Well,
because
yeah,
now they have an excuse. Now
and
they
I
have an excuse.
Yes,
and
I
Brent
agree.
said that, and Brent said that too. She feels that she gives the impression that she's safe, right? Which is not a good look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just if she was being targeted day in and day out, kind of like the whole Britney thing,
Hmm.
Mhm.
I feel like you have more of a reason to be like, okay, there's only so many times you're going to beat this. The law of averages show that I'm most likely probably not going to make it out the next time I get put up. So, but she was in a different, situation. So I feel as though I can understand her reasoning, but I don't think there was enough history to kind of like validate it,
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't keeping it. I see
Yeah.
David Thielen is saying there was no way she was going to win with the choice that early. No, of course not. Brittany's still in. Brittany's taking it from her. So
Yep.
there is, it's like a moot point, but still, you're giving them a reason. It's Big Brother. Everyone needs a reason to nominate you. You gave them a good reason by doing that with Sarah Beth's downfall. But I also feel, because you just mentioned it, I feel I have to tell you guys, because I may have tweeted about it and I would rather you hear it directly, from me. I hate the big blue couch. It's torture,
What?
and it
I came
was
up with a theme
fun the
song.
first time, Brent. It was fun the first time, maybe the second time. I'll even give you the third time. I'll give you the first week. We're on day 30, and when they go big blue couch, I want to bash my head in a
Eric,
wall.
here's what helps with the big blue couch. Okay, this is what helps.
Clearly.
When I have the feeds on, I just get my champs.
Like, here's a perfect example, Brent. Your week, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the night before eviction. And now granted, you don't know about the blind side and you were working on people, so I'm not saying that at all. But like everyone's just like la la, let's talk in the cat. I'm like, there's a blind side that could happen. Brent doesn't know what's going on. Maybe I don't know. We want to talk game, and everyone's just like la la, big blue couch. And I'm like, I hate this couch. I want to burn the couch. I want to burn the couch.
That was
I
another thing that was concerning to me as well, because you're right. A lot of people, like I said, when we got later in the day, we would do a lot of improv games, and everyone
mm-hmm.
wanted to play games.
Yeah.
And there was a few remarks from my own teammates saying that they were tired of talking game and such, and I was on the block. So yeah, when you think back on a lot of those things, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, listen, we're the only team that can compete with the Kings at the moment, and I'm on there. And if you're thinking that I am 100% safe, I mean, it just doesn't add up as far as Brittany versus me. And it was, yeah, I had no idea that everyone was throwing the comps, though. I will say that. I was rooting for them, and I was extremely loyal to my team,
Yeah.
and to the people that I aligned with. And I think that obviously it wasn't really good for their game to get rid of me so soon, as far as I could help them win competitions, given the opportunity. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the time at night, a lot of time was spent playing games and such, and their fellow teammate was on the block.
Brent, what was your favorite improv game to play?
So I did a lot of the singing for them, but because I came up with a whole theme song for the Big Blue Couch and destroyed my vocal cords to sing it. But so that was a lot of fun for me.
I thought
But
DF came up with the theme song.
oh, it was me.
He stole it from you?
The Big Blue Couch theme song is sung and written by me.
You heard it
Oh.
here, people. You
All right,
heard it
copy.
here.
Yeah, the lyrics and everything like that, they have redone it, but originally I came up with it. It's the Big Blue Couch. It's blue then white, then blue then white again.
Uh-huh.
We don't really know what's happening, but we have fun anyway. It's a Big Blue Couch where we talk about other people's shit, even if they ain't having it, but we're doing it for the viewership. It's the Big Blue Couch, and then y'all go live and clap and everything. That was all me. So it's unfortunate that they try to erase my memory, but
They still talk about you. I will say they do,
Yeah,
and
they do.
positive, not even
really,
positively. Really,
Oh, yeah.
they do. They
'cause I
will
have
say
nothing but nice
they
things to say about every single one of them. And
yeah.
then I do hear a lot of the things that they're saying about me, unfortunately, is just, you know,
Did
Well, I think
did
it's people too outside the house, right? Like our motto here is hate the game, not the player, right?
yeah.
So
Hmm.
right? Did you ever think about using the game like in past seasons? We have seen people use these games to paint a target on someone or ask a leading loaded question that's going to make them look bad in front of the house. Did you ever think to do that, or did you ever do that when you were doing Big Blue Couch?
So not even Big Blue Couch, it was the game Mafia. Now, for people
Mm-hmm.
that don't know the game
Oh.
Mafia, long story short, it's basically a group setting of how many other people. You have three Mafia members, you have a detective, a nurse, and then the rest are townspeople. So the object of the game is to eliminate all the Mafia before they kill the townspeople. But you have to state your case for why you might not be the Mafia member, or why you might not be the nurse or the detective. So people, while we're playing this game, are legit doing what we're doing in Big Brother. And
Mm-hmm.
just watching Sarah Beth and Azza and Tiffany too, they were just amazing, stating their case of why they weren't or why they were. And most of the time it was the denial of them actually being the Mafia member that you found out later, and you're like, wow, that was really convincing, concerning, but also I'm taking note of that, because the game where I was always getting killed. That's so the reason why, I don't know if you guys caught on to the whole little sewer rat thing with me and Alyssa, because we were very, very close in the house. We were definitely like best friends the first 2 weeks, but the sewer rat came from her ratting me out as soon as we opened our eyes playing Mafia. She like basically just pointed to me. She's like, he's the Mafia. So I never even made it very far in the game. So I was always eliminated with like first or second. So was Hannah. So we were able to just watch. And like I said, Sarah Beth was amazing. And so was Azza. And so were a few other people, Christian being an actor himself and everything. So it was definitely a lot of intel. Well, yeah,
Izzy!
so it's weird to say, but inside that house, yeah, like when he was lying to my face because I knew they were the Kings were already trying to go against me, because obviously he put me up. Xavier did. I was just watching him and how he was acting, and I knew that he was going to vote against me, but the way he kept going about it, trying to convince me he wasn't and that I was safe, I was like, I can see that if I didn't know other parts of the the equation, this would be actually convincing. So he's a decent actor. He's not too bad, but
I
yeah.
I saw people were asking, going back to what you said before. So knowing now that your team did throw that competition, throw the wild card, right? And in order to help get you evicted,
Yeah.
like, what are your feelings on that? Or is that all still just part of your, I get it, it's a game, I would have done it to them at some point as well?
I definitely can understand it from a game perspective, but later on, the fact that we were still teams and I was a part of their immunity going forward if I were to win, I think was just silly on their part because if we did stay 4v4, the Kings and the Aces, I feel like we would have had a longevity as far as me and Whitney not going home back to back. I felt like we were the only team that could truly compete with them, with the Kings. And I think it could have helped in the physical aspect. Unfortunately, they thought otherwise, and they trusted the words of the kings and the queens, who ultimately betrayed them as well. Because Whitney's out here with me. Um, I do see where it could be a possibility, but in the future, the fact that they did it so soon, and then I was told by many on through DM and everything that they regretted it afterwards. They were saying how like they should have kept me for one more week at least, to be able to continue their game or help them continue their game. As soon as what was it, Hannah and Whitney were put up, that they were saying in the house that maybe we shouldn't have got rid of Brent so fast. It wasn't really good for our game. And I do believe if Derek X didn't win HOH, it would have been him and Hannah up there as well, as far as Sarah Beth having strong feelings towards Hannah, and a lot of people trying to gun after Derek X. So my whole team, if we didn't win the HOH, would have been just one person standing.
Right.
So to me it was like I kind of understand it, but at the same time it's like you guys did me dirty and yourselves dirty. Because
So, so Brent, you went into the house, you had a strategy, and then it was completely different than what you thought.
Mhm.
Anything you would have done different?
So I wanted to go in, and well, the thing I would have did different was just not have any muscle. I would have starved myself for legit like a couple weeks if I known that going in I would have get targeted as a meathead. I had no, I had no shot from the beginning as far as being able to play the game I wanted to play, because Frenchie made it so known that, listen, a meathead's going and you're the first one on my radar. So I do feel as though I was in defense mode the whole time, and I had to be a little bit more boisterous, and I had to go around and be more social and do things I didn't really necessarily wanted to do in the beginning. I kind of just scratched and clawed and did what I had to do to stay 3 weeks. And as far as because I get this question a lot, I really don't see how I could have done anything else, because I couldn't have assumed that Frenchie would have been that haywire in the beginning as far as his strategy and his gameplay. And the taste just couldn't get out of people's mouths as the weeks went on, as far as me and Frenchie being linked. And I respect and I was loyal, and I do appreciate Frenchie as a person. But he was definitely very bad for my game in the beginning. But I really didn't have a choice. So
Right.
going back, I guess there's not really much more I could have done differently because he saw me that very first HOH competition, and that's when he said, "Oh, this is the guy I'm putting on the block." At least that's what he told me. So.
Was there anything, I see Michelle wanted to know, was there anything that you learned was there anything that you learned when you got back into the real world that surprised you? Like anything that happened in the house or anything that you missed while you were in sequester or in the house?
So I was very shocked and pleasantly shocked to find out what the house guests really were and what they
Mhm.
were really like. Xavier being a lawyer, I mean, I think that's amazing. The dude is a model as well, so thank God he didn't lie about that because he has the perfect physique and complexion for that. So I would have had trust issues if he lied about that. As far as Big D's father being Joe Frazier, I mean, the guy that knocked down Muhammad Ali, that's wild. He had a big tattoo on his arm that said Frazier with boxing gloves. I should have put two and two together. Yeah, I
Yeah.
should have. Sarah
Didn't you
Beth
have a conversation with him or was that not you?
about boxing, yeah.
Yeah, like
Um,
somebody was having the conversation with him about one of the fights, and it was with his dad, but they said the name wrong. Like they didn't say his
It,
dad. It was crazy.
it was
they said
definitely
like
not.
Ron Frazier instead of Joe
Yeah,
Frazier, right?
Something
yeah,
like
it
that,
was.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely
Yeah,
wasn't me because I would have been all gun ho on it because that's pretty
right.
amazing, incredible.
That is pretty
Um,
amazing.
but as far as that, some of the just some of the things people were in the house were doing behind my back and such. I was a very upfront and blunt person, and I gave the answers people wanted when they asked them, and I was very loyal. I feel as though I was very loyal to the people that I was aligned with and such, and then to learn a lot of the things that they were doing and saying behind my back. Obviously, it is what it is. That's the game, but it's like, well, hopefully, and I do believe that I won't allow it to interfere with my relationships with them outside of the house, because they're doing it to everyone. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is something that's like, okay, well, that sucks to see, sucks to hear, because you are all in the same experience together. And we are the ones, and people say the BB family, that you
Hmm.
talk about the experience with because not many people understand it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a little bit of a bummer, but
Right.
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I have an incredible support system outside of the house, regardless. So
Good.
I'm
Well,
grateful and appreciative of it.
Well, you know what's not going to kill you, but could kill us, is if we go crazy over time. So I
Okay.
want to ask you, and I'm sure that you've gotten these questions before, but it's the ones that you've gotten the most. So I thought we could just rapid fire through some of these
Yeah.
Got
really
it.
quickly. Who do you think is playing the best game? Who do you think is playing the worst game?
I would say I think Kylan's playing the best game just because his relationships in the house. And I also think the person playing the worst game would most likely be. This is a tough one. Um,
It could be a tie.
it's tough. I really don't know who's playing the worst game right now. As far as
Well, and if
there's
you
so
don't
many.
watch the live feeds, it's really
That's
hard
tough.
for you to know because
Exactly.
you're just going
Yeah.
based off of the
Well,
edit.
I did hear that some people are exploding, and that's not good. So I would say for the people that are allowing their emotions to overtake them, they're playing the
Mhm.
worst game.
Who do you want to win and who do you think will win?
I would like to see Christian win. I'm rooting for him. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen, but he's been winning, and
Mhm.
if you could still stay in the house after winning all those competitions and avoid the block, I think it's
Right.
impressive. So
Would you ever want to play again?
absolutely,
Uh
absolutely.
okay, and then I have to run through these. I don't know why. I swear, and I don't know if I think it is like the younger people that watch our shows. So I have my parents'
Hmm.
permission. We get so many for. Would you ever do Survivor?
Yes.
Oh
Would
my
you
gosh,
ever
I would love that, Brent. I love
would you,
Survivor.
would you ever do the challenge?
Absolutely, without question.
Yes. I love the
Okay.
challenge.
And would you ever do Amazing Race? And if who would you want to do it with?
Amazing Race, I think would be great to do it with Travis. Me and Trav,
Okay.
I think it would be a swell of a time, and with my dialect and his dialect and our, our friendship, I think it would be a blast.
Would you do it with Frenchie?
I would do it with anyone. I really would. I do think.
Would you do it with me?
Absolutely, without question.
Because I wouldn't.
Eric wouldn't do it with me.
They want
We
us
were
to.
out.
When I
We
went,
were out.
no.
I already traveled the world anyway, so why not do it again?
True. You're not afraid to fly like me.
Yeah.
Our town wants to know, is there anything that you learned about yourself coming out of this Big Brother experience that you didn't know about yourself before you started playing this game?
Question.
So I'm big with being I'm comfortable when I'm uncomfortable. So there was a few things that I thought were going to be unique that I would never be able to experience anywhere else, and that is taking showers in front of hundreds of thousands of people, going to the bathroom, sleeping. Like, I mean, while the camera was always on my bed every time I was sleeping. Those things were unique, and I learned that I really don't give a shit. So I can do all that stuff while people watch. So that's something new. As far as other things, I mean, I did this experience of just being away from everything in the outside world and not having social media or your phones or all that stuff. It's a testament that you can live without it, and you can. It's therapeutic. I found it very relaxing, and you're able to just reflect on the things that you want, and you have a clearer head because there's no interjections or anything like that, and you can see your goals and what you want to do and obtain very clearly. So I did think that was a very refreshing experience.
Did you read the Bible at all, or did Azah just hog it?
Azah, I admire her, and she inspired me because every night, and it was truly a sight to see. And I asked some questions, so did Alyssa, and we were using the time to become educated on a topic that's something that we're not too familiar with as far as how in depth it is. But yeah, so I feel like we used our time wisely in that regard.
Yeah.
Do you, well, first of all, I have to say that I'm not going to go into a big rant about it, but I just want to say that I am very upset about how Big Brother, for the first time ever, has decided to end this episode tonight on a cliffhanger, which is what Big Brother Canada does, and we don't like that in America.
No, we don't.
I mean, again, we're live feed watchers, so we already know, but don't adopt this edit style of we're not going to tell you what's going on. That's number one. We're not
going to take it, CBS. We're not going to take it.
We're not taking it anymore. Number two. Go ahead. No, I thought it was okay. Number two, I need to cleanse my conscience and say, Brent, if you hear that I hate New Jersey, that's just a joke.
I'm from Rhode Island, born and raised. I sound like
I'm clarity. Oh, Eric.
I mean, to be fair, we New Yorkers reject that as part of New Jersey, but
Rhode Island.
No, I'm totally kidding. And lastly, do you have any tips for me to get over my fear of flying?
So the thing is just watch the flight attendants. We're there. We're heavily trained. A lot of people think we just hand out snacks and Cokes. That's just a courtesy. We are there to keep you safe and feel comfortable. And like I said, we're trained in all regard as far as what to do. So if you do not see us panicking, you do not have to panic because we are your eyes and ears. So the next time you feel anxious, just feel free to call us over and we'll tell you everything.
Eric, let me give you a little tip of what I do when I like to fly.
I know. I've flown with John many a time. And I don't know what happened. I always used to fly all the time, Brent. Like all the time. John and I used to fly first class. Yeah. We go to reality things. And then all of a sudden one day, my brain just went, you're going to die in this plane. And I made them, we were ready for takeoff, Brent. I made them pull back and let me out.
Oh, yeah. And he was wheeled by me in some kind of cart. And I'm like, is that Eric?
Yeah. Oh, I made them pull back in, reconnect the penis thing, and let me out. I was like, not happening.
That's like wild that they even did that for you. That's a big. They have to do all paperwork and everything on that. As
Oh,
far
they
as
Well, I
billed
was
you?
like
Did they bill
hyper.
you?
I was like hyperventilating, and there may have been like. But it's a long story. There was a reason why they didn't. We don't need to get back into it.
live to tell
So,
the tale. That's all that matters.
so on that note, Brent, where do you want people to follow you on social media? Because you're not on Twitter.
I'm not on anything but Instagram. So
Okay.
Fly with Champagne, it is a page where obviously I do a lot of my passion of traveling and hiking and all that stuff. I make videos and such, and you'll be able to learn a lot more about me than what you just saw as far as the edits on TV. Um, I I don't know. I just love life. I'm obsessed with living, not just existing, and you'll see a lot of that on my Instagram. So, um, but yeah, so Fly with Champagne, and feel free to DM me. And I have been trying to respond to absolutely everyone, and I think I've been doing a pretty decent job at it. So I appreciate all the love and the support that you guys have been giving me. And just know if I can do it, you can do it too. So always take the lead.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, is there anything, you have hundreds and hundreds of people tuning in to watch this live. There's going to be thousands more that download it and watch it back. What do you want to say to your fans out there?
I just want to say, and I want to clear a few things up as far as what was. All right, so all right, this is one thing that I don't think people
Okay.
understand. Um, the whole I could read you like a coloring book, that is supposed to be ironic and funny. People are
Okay.
taking it literal because
Okay.
it's a picture and you don't need to read it. It's very
Right.
transparent. It's on the page. So I just wanted to
Right.
clear that up because a lot of people were always asking me about that, about the coloring book thing.
Okay.
But other than that, uh, I mean, the show is just that. It's a show, and we're playing a game, and we are doing things that we have to do to get far in the game. It is not who we really are as far as people, and I feel like as though people like to, think that it is. Um, but I don't know. It's just more or less all those people in that house are doing something and putting their lives on hold for your entertainment. So, enjoy it as entertainment, but these people have lives outside of the house, so be
and
easy.
and 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 everyone deserves a chance in the real world to show
Yep.
you who they are outside of how they're acting, like Brent said, on a
Even if
game.
they're not in the house, everyone deserves a chance, right?
Well, that's the
Absolutely.
point.
Yeah.
Yes, John, that was the point.
Oh, you're so welcome. I just wanted to make sure I punctuated it.
We thank you so much, Brent. We
Thank
hope
you.
that you'll come back and
Brent,
talk more with us
thank-
this season.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Whenever you guys want. Whenever you
Oh.
guys want, I'm here.
Perfect. John, where can people find you at the bottom of that class? Go ahead.
At the bottom, here's my genie bottle. No, you can find me everywhere at Comedy Jonah.
We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Following the eviction, will Christian go? Will he not? We don't know. We'll see you then and find out live. Bye, everybody. Bye, friends.